Welcome back to the Final Fantasy V 4-Job Fiesta 2021. This is run number 2, and this is the battle with Exdeath here in his castle. Exdeath starts with a physical attack instead of the Condemn ability. This is a natural run, FF1 style, so we have Knight, White Mage, Monk, and Thief there from top to bottom. Of course, Exdeath dangerous in both phases, and extra dangerous even though we have access to White Magic, which is a real game saver in this battle. Having only one person who can cast it, one character, is really a liability here. There's a nice attack from my Knight and the Ice Brand because of what you just saw right there. So that animation that you just saw is Dispel from Exdeath, and that is a counter ability that Exdeath has whenever he takes a shot. And when the Monk attacks him, actually, unfortunately, he can do it twice. He can randomly target Dispel twice. And you saw right there how that can be super effective for him. He cast Dispel randomly on Lena, who happened to be the one who had Blink status on, and then immediately followed up with a physical attack on Lena, who normally would have absorbed that attack with her Blink status. But Dispel took it out. So that Dispel is going to be a huge problem to try to keep everyone protected, to try to keep Blink on, to try to keep Shell, to try to keep Reflect if you want to do that. Reflect is not something you'll actually see us use in this fight, and that's simply because of the only one caster in this fight. I didn't want to use Reflect even in the later part because Dispel comes too often. You really have to depend on him kind of randomly plinking the character with Reflect. We can't get everybody reflected with Carbuncle as a summoner, nor can you do it with a bunch of White Mages. So obviously the real strategy is in that second part. If we had everybody with White Magic, you have everybody put Blink on themselves, and then you have everyone put Reflect on themselves, and then you're totally invulnerable to anything that he does. So Earthshaker there takes out everybody. That White Mage is going to prove extremely vulnerable in this fight. That White Mage is going to go down a lot. And I came into this fight with fewer Phoenix Downs than I really should have had. I didn't look carefully at my Phoenix Down count before I entered Exdeath's castle here. And remember, with only one White Mage who can cast Raise, I really am going to depend on those Phoenix Downs a lot, especially when the character who can cast Raise is most likely to hit the floor the most, especially when you see all of Exdeath's area of effect stuff. So the first attempt at this battle actually failed because I burned up all my Phoenix Downs and I couldn't keep everybody alive. This one I have the same number of Phoenix Downs, but this successful battle I just got a little bit luckier in some of the damage readouts that I got, especially from the Monk, and of course on the AI script of Exdeath there. We are at a level that's going to dodge a level 3 flare. I think we may be at level 23. At this point, I think we're level 23. So if level 3 flare is attempted, we'll dodge that. That's not like a game breaker here coming into this fight, because if he rolls level 3 flare and you're level 3, just you reset. There's a save point not too far before that. That's Zombie Breath, and this is me checking the damage readouts, because if a character gets taken to 0 hit points from Zombie Breath, they are turned into a zombie and need to use a holy water to bring them out of zombie status. You can't just heal them out of zombie status. You have to use the holy water first. And I'm not sure if Isuna will actually take them out of zombie status. I'm not sure if it will. I don't actually know. I almost always will just go for the holy water. So there was just a regular physical attack in the back row. If that was a vacuum wave, that would take her out. But taking one physical attack is, I'll take that, especially if she can stay on her feet and not lose a bunch of actions trying to revive her. Now I am losing actions in trying to get her hit points back up, but there's level 3 flare. Exdeath attempted it, and it didn't hit anybody because I dodged it with my levels. There's Dispel again, so whenever you see that animation, that's Dispel. And she's putting on Blink status on herself. So you're really just kind of rolling the dice when you put those statuses, those defensive statuses on, because his next Dispel could very well target her. Or he can make a physical attack targeting her and have it actually absorb an action from Exdeath, which is huge. Yeah, Exdeath is just, and there's a Dispel on her right there, and so you can see 2 Dispels immediately from that Monk. So Monk attacked twice, and Exdeath countered both of them with a Dispel. One of them was on Lena there. But now Lena is still vulnerable to magic damage, and if she uses 2 actions to get herself defended from magic and from physical attacks, she's gobbled up 2 actions, but Exdeath on just a counter will take it off. So Exdeath can, for free, using 0 actions, remove 2 of her actions. So it's the time advantage. You can really start to fall behind. And that's one thing to this battle. The way I would describe it is you feel like you're falling behind in this fight. That's Gravity 100. Gravity 100 removes float status if you happen to have it. That means that he's in the part of his routine where Earthshaker might be coming. Float status makes you immune to Earth attacks. So there's another double dispel, and indeed, it took off Lena's protection, and then he followed it up with an attack. Now, those are both random. Those are all random, but it sometimes can seem like the game is really working hard and smartly targeting you, but it's all random. Those dispels were just a 1 out of 4 shot each, and then that attack was 1 out of 4 shot to target Lena. But it makes you go, ugh. It makes you very frustrated. So you can also see Exdeath has decent physical and magical defense. So characters like the monk that can't boost their damage with weapons or with any kind of like elemental attack, all they can just do is punch, punch, punch. It's very difficult. You can see how little damage that monk is doing compared to the knight who can boost their damage with double gripping and picking up nice solid weapons. And the thief can boost their damage with good weapons and, of course, getting a lot of turns. And Monk's a fairly fast character, but just look how low that is. I mean, 150, 174 in a turn. And each one of those hits has a chance to miss, by the way. As you can see there, the thief has the twin lance. Now, that's a thief and ninja exclusive weapon. It's kind of lucky that I have a character who can use it. Those hits also have a chance to hit, but you can see the thief is doing much better damage. And the White Mage won't get access to Holy until later on in World 3, so forget her having any kind of real offensive output. Now, Lena is in the front row there because I have not used an action to have her move to the back row when he uses the row switch ability. I can't remember what it's called now, I apologize. Whatever makes you switch from back to front or front to back. It takes an action of yours to move out of that row. But I want Lena to continually be casting stuff. So now right there, we're in Exdeath's second routine. So he has more than half gone now. His hit points are more than half gone. There was a dispel that took out both a shell and a blink. So that was 2 actions of the White Mage to protect Ferris, both gone in a counter attack. And that's where you can, I talked about falling behind in this fight. That's a great example of it, where you're needing multiple actions of your characters to make up for 1 action of Exdeath's, and sometimes with a counter, it's a free action that he doesn't actually use a turn for. And so if we had 4 characters who could cast white magic, we could get everybody protected, and if his dispel came up, we could get everyone protected much more quickly and much more easily, just with 2 characters casting right away. But with only 1 character having to use 2 full rounds to put those defenses back up, it's rough. Now right there, we had Exdeath doing 2 physical attacks on my 2 physical characters who actually can tank those attacks if they're at full health. They can actually gobble those attacks up, but not very many. And we're going to be gulping elixirs here to try to keep them in range of staying alive after those. So, because there's my knight. He actually took an extra hit there. One took him out, but then the next one he jumped down and dodged, which is great, but he had already taken lethal damage from the first one. Exdeath will do either 1 or 2 actions per turn now. They are all single targeting, which is good news. There's no more multi-targeting effects that Exdeath has. They're all single target, but he can do 2 different characters, and he can take out 2 characters per round if he targets smartly. Now, this is a little bit tricksy here. The Knight has blink status on, and the Thief down there is in critical health. So the Knight is going to jump in front of the Thief anytime Exdeath tries to attack the Thief. So right now, the Thief basically has blink status on because of the Knight, if that makes sense. Ferris is untargetable for physical damage because any physical attack, the Knight is going to jump in front of him and either dodge it with the Elf Cape or dodge it with the blink status. So unfortunately, Lena right there put blink on herself and then got taken out by Ice 3. And so it's hard to know what protections you're going to need. And with Dispel floating around, it's just very difficult to do anything meaningful with your defenses here. You can try and you might get lucky and actually dodge something. That's why I was going for Blink over Shell, because Shell doesn't stop the magic from happening. Shell will just protect you from taking too much hit point damage, but you still have to be at full health and in Shell status in order to benefit from it. At least Blink status, you can be in critically low health, and it completely nullifies a physical attack. So at this point, I was going just to try to get Blink on as many characters as I could. Maybe nullify the physical damage, and then I could take care of his magic damage with Phoenix Downs and life spells. And so you saw the Knight there dodge the physical attack. The Knight would have protected the Thief if that had been a physical attack down there towards the Thief, but it was indeed a magical attack. And the Ice Brand, even dual wielded, you'd like to see that do more than 1,000 at our levels, but that physical defense from Exdeath is just gobbling up so much of that damage. And every time you fight this battle, there was a nice double dodge there. Every time you fight this battle, it's easy to forget how hard this fight can be, even with a pretty strong party like the one we have. So there's double Dispel, both on Ferris, and that's fine. I don't mind him going there. So if you could run Exdeath out of MP, that'd actually be really useful. If we had a Bard, we could run out of this fight and make him burn up all of his MP. That'd make it much more manageable. So there was a physical attack on the Knight, dodged by the Blink status, and then Fire took out the Thief. I do want the Thief in critical, so when you use the life spell, they get less hit points than with a Phoenix Down, and so that is what's going to keep her in the critical range, so that the Knight can continue to guard her. And you can see we're just a couple levels outside of being able to tank that with some of my squishier characters, but I did not want to grind up 4 more levels to get the benefits there at this point in the game. So I'm deciding what to do with my Monk. My Monk can just do so little, on her own. The damage is just so pathetic as she does not get a physical or a critical hit. But I didn't want to kind of pointlessly throw elixirs around. That attack there is about one of the worst things he can do, and that's take out 2 characters with 1 turn, with 1 round, because it's going to take us 2 turns, and actually 2 of our precious supply of Phoenix Downs, our dwindling supply of Phoenix Downs, to bring them back. It's too bad, but that's the way it goes. And you're just hoping to kind of outlast. This fight, if you have enough Phoenix Downs, you can survive indefinitely in this fight. But it's all about getting damage in when you can. Getting some hits in, 1,000 here, 1,000 there. When he reaches this point, he's got about 16,000 hit points left. So about 16 successful Knight attacks. And one of the most frustrating things you can see is actually a miss from the Knight during this section, because, that is a significant proportion of this fight. Every time the Knight gets an attack off, that is wasted if the Knight happens to miss. Okay, so right there was an elixir, and you're going to see us gulping quite a few elixirs. Now, we have quite a few elixirs because of the Thief. The Thief's been stealing a decent number of elixirs the whole game here, so that's been nice. And there's another 1,000 damage from the Knight. And here, I wish we could cast Scan for free to see how much hit points Exdeath has, but of course, we cannot be wasting our actions casting Scan. We need to be protecting ourselves. There was a Blink status right there, was protecting Lena. It was good, that took care of her. Now, more characters are in Blink than it looks like. I think Lena still has Blink ×1, but the frame rate of my capture doesn't go at 60 FPS, so sadly it does not get every bit of those. If their Blink status is out of sync with the frame capture, then you won't see it. So again, I'm using the Raise spell, or the Life spell, to bring the Thief back, but have her in critical health. So the Knight will jump in front, because a Knight is protected with the Blink status. Okay, there's a Dispel, just one Dispel after the Monk attack. And that's actually something you need to think about a little bit. So there, you saw a Blink, an image was removed from Lena and from Butts the Knight. And there it is. That's the final swing on Exdeath. So that was a very tight battle, and we just had enough Phoenix Downs to hold out for that one. So on we go to World 3, getting ready for the last chapter of this game.